Now, ever since the Eagles beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, they haven't won a single game, which sucks because I'm rooting for Doug Peterson. He helped the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl. I'm rooting for the guy. I want the guy to do well. And I want his team to beat the other teams in my division. He can only help us now. But a lot of people, now the Eagles are 7-0, every week it's just been like, who have you played? You haven't played anybody good. You've had a cupcake schedule. Went up against Dallas. Dallas fans were like, oh yeah, we want Philly because we're going to show you how a real football team plays. And then we beat them. Okay? I don't care if it was not with Dak Prescott. It was still a win. Okay? The Eagles played the Dallas Cowboys, the same Dallas Cowboys that the other teams played, and the same teams that the Dallas Cowboys won. The Eagles played, at the time, the best against their defense that anyone has played all season. Okay? And, by the way, the Eagles did it in the second half without their starting right tackle. He was out with a concussion. Here's what I want to say here, right? And after the game, they were, we still hear it. You have a cupcake schedule. You haven't beaten anybody good. Just like what I said at the end of that Jaguars game, right? Just like what I said. I said, okay, sounds good. We play whoever is on our schedule. I will admit that the whole NFC East right now does not have a particularly difficult schedule. I would say that when it comes to the NFC East, the best two teams that the NFC East is going to play outside of the NFC East, who every team in the NFC East is 500 or above, the best teams that these teams are going to play, Tennessee and Minnesota. Those two teams. Maybe with Washington, they play the 49ers, who just clocked the Rams, but those are the two best teams that the whole division is going to play outside of the division. I think that outside of those two teams, the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Commanders are the best teams that the Eagles are going to play. And the Eagles haven't played the Giants yet. The Giants are a really good team this year. So what I'm getting at here is that maybe the NFL is not that good this year. Okay? People say that the Eagles haven't played anybody good. People say the Eagles aren't the best team in the NFL. Fine. Part of me kind of agrees with that. I think the Buffalo Bills are the best team in the NFL. And in all honesty, maybe they are. I don't care what people think about the Eagles having a 7-0 record and not particularly playing the greatest of opponents. I don't care. I always say this. I always go back to this. The last two times the Philadelphia Eagles were in the Super Bowl, 2004 and 2017. In 2004, do you know how many playoff teams the Eagles beat that season? In the regular season before the playoffs. The answer is 1. The Eagles beat 1. No, actually, hold on. They beat 2 playoff teams that year. 2. Minnesota and Green Bay. And it wasn't particularly close. Okay? I think they only beat 3 teams with a winning record. Baltimore was the third team. Or no, 2 teams with a winning record, because Minnesota didn't have a winning record. But you kind of get to my drift, right? When the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017, do you know how many playoff teams the Eagles beat that year? 2. 2 playoff teams. That's it. And I think that they only beat 3 teams with a winning record. So that's not particularly good. They didn't have a particularly good schedule. When the Eagles went to the playoffs, a huge knock on the Eagles outside of the fact that they were playing a backup quarterback was the fact that, again, they didn't beat anybody good. That is why the whole NFL was ragging on the Eagles. That's why the whole media was ragging on the Eagles. And my response is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. And to put things into perspective, I said this 4 weeks ago. The season before that, when the Eagles went 7-9, do you know how many playoff teams they beat that year? 4. They beat 4 playoff teams that year, which was just as many as they had won in their previous 2 Super Bowl appearances. Again, the Eagles are 7-0. Maybe they're not as good as their record shows. Maybe they're not. Maybe they actually suck. I don't know. But who knows what's going to happen? The season isn't written during the regular season. You get the number of wins you can get in the regular season, then you go to the playoffs and you see what you can do in the playoffs. That's what I always say. Otherwise, people are just trash talking. And I don't like to get into that trash talking. I don't care about that. If you don't think my team is good, cool. Again, I said this 4 weeks ago. There is nothing that the Philadelphia Eagles could do that'll make these people think that they're even halfway decent. Again, could beat the 07 Patriots and the 72 Dolphins. Well, this happened in the game. Okay. Again, you're not going to win. You're not going to win, so you might as well just... right? That's what I did all the Cowboys week when both sides were with each other, and you just sit there and you're like, dude, are you really going to spend your energy on that today? I don't agree with that. If the Eagles aren't good, according to some people, then the Eagles aren't good, according to some people. They're entitled to their opinion. I can just sit here and be like, okay, 7-0, they must suck.